Hey everybody, and welcome back to Love Live Vape. In my last video I mentioned to look out for something new from Aspire, and here it is, the Aspire Atlantis Mega. This tank is just huge, it's humongous. I'll have a quick read on the back just so you know what's in the box. It says here, Aspire's Atlantis Mega is the new, upgraded Atlantis. This innovative tank system brings improved adjustable airflow, a large 5mm capacity, and optimal cooling system design on drip tip and sub ohm coils that provides the best in extreme vaping performance. This new tank will help vapors experience purer taste and bigger clouds than previous models. Aspire Atlantis Mega tank design is easy to carry, install and refill. But there you go, 5mm capacity. Looking at it, I'd have to say that you could probably squeeze a little bit more than 5mm in here, considering, you know, if you've got one of these, if you've ever had one of these, you'll probably know yourself. Looking at it's got to be more than 5mm. Obviously, it's got your scratch panel on the back, so you can register this product and get your year's warranty. I'm just literally going to pull this out. Here it is at the box, Pyrex glass, and you know, you get your 0.3 ohm coils, and you also get your 0.5 ohm coils. I've got the 0.3 in here, so I'm just going to take this apart for you to all the bits that it comes with. First of all, I'm going to unscrew the bottom. There you go, nice big air holes there. Now this has 4 airflow settings, 4. Alright, I've got it obviously on the highest, and then I think if we go this way, it's the second highest, and then I guess you could go for second lowest, and then the very lowest is tiny. Obviously, it just revolves around nice little pivots. I'm going to have it on the largest airflow because that's just how I do it. You got your rubber seal and everything, so your coil will obviously screw into there, and obviously you can see there at the bottom there, that's the connection, so you get good connections. I can only imagine it's probably spring loaded, but let's see. So here's the rest of it. There's your coil. Now you're going to have a good old look at this coil. I have used this, and I've given it a good clean out just so I can show you guys for this review. If you've got any of the older models of the Atlantis tanks from Aspire, you'll notice that there's these flow holes for your juice to enter the coil and the cottons. So now they don't use ceramics anymore. They've got rid of the ceramic cottons, and they use organic cottons now, which is super. And if you had these models before, you'll know that these flow holes are a little bit smaller, so they've upgraded that. They've given you bigger flow holes, right? Because trust me, this thing needs to keep up. And you also got more holes for airflow in the bottom here instead of your standard 2. So they've upgraded on that as well. So that's that. So there's 4 holes around here as well. I think on the previous model there was only 2. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that's the coil. And as before, the tanks are pretty much the same. Yeah, they're just bigger. You've got your thread for your when you screw it on the top of your tank. The glass is pressure fitted, and it just comes out very easily. It's not a struggle. I found there was a bit of a struggle with the older models. This one's a lot easier to pull out. If it does break, easy to replace as well. So that's that, and it's pressure fitted as well, so you're not going to leak or anything like that. Here's another thing. The drip tip can come out just like the older models. Unfortunate thing is, I haven't found anywhere that sells replaceable drip tips, like of a different type. You know, like you get your wooden ones, you get your plastic ones, and you get your metal tips and stuff, tight bores, big bores, or whatever. This is the only one, so if you lose it, drop it, and it gets a chip in it or something, you could probably buy a replacement off of Aspire themselves. But I don't know if they have different types. There's only one standard, I think. So that's that. Also, as well, on the mouthpiece of the drip tip, if you can see there, there's a hole. And there's 4 of these holes all around the drip tip. And that's right. You can turn this to get more airflow. More airflow through your drip tip. More airflow in theory means more vapor. So, extra airflow. And I'm going to have to fill this up. And of course, as with the older models, if you've seen any of my videos before, you can put your coil in the refillable part of your tank. Yeah, therefore you can increase the capacity. It's the only way to fill them up, because why would you want to fill it up halfway, you know, just before it starts to overflow into your mouthpiece, when you could just stick your coil in and fill it up practically all the way. So I think we'd all agree, right? This is a 10ml bottle, yeah, and it's full up to the top, 10ml bottle, yeah. I'm going to see how much of this I can get into this tank, even though they say it's a 5ml capacity. You ready for this? And that little drip bit, get rid of that. I'm just going to pour it in. So I'd fill it up just before the top, because obviously you've got to remember the rubber seal. And that was a 10ml bottle. 5ml capacity? Sure. It's much more. You need to like go, look guys, yeah, you can fit more than 5ml in. You know, call it a 7ml tank or something, you know. That's basically, I'd say that was about 7ml. You know, just looking at it. But yeah, that's full up now. Just full up. And of course, same as before, screw your bottom part on, so it's bottom feeder, as with all the other models. Oh, there we go, found the bite. There's still enough room there, so it's not going to leak. I haven't overfilled it. Nice and hand tight, don't overdo it, because what's the point? There we go, hand tight. There we are. If you can see, there's tiny air bubble, so you know it's completely and utterly full up to the top. And once again, people, my coil has already been primed, so I don't have to prime it again. But I'll just quickly show you in the spare coil that you get. So it should say on the coil how many ohms it is. Oh no, I stand corrected. This is a 1 ohm, not a 0.5 ohm. So this is 1 ohm coil. Remember that, peeps. Right, so you must remember, obviously I've lost my drip tip, but yeah, each and every hole, prime those holes, pour it down the top, yeah, saturate. That's all I can say. Completely unsaturated coils, put it in your tank, leave it, forget about it, and then fill your tank up. You know, then it should be ready to fire up, and you ain't gonna get no dry hits, you ain't gonna burn your cottons, and it should be a satisfying vape. Now, of course, it's a 510 connection, so I will be putting it on my Sigelli just to show you the capabilities, you know, the real essence of this machine. I'm going to have to show you what it's capable of doing. So here we go. Airflow is completely open. I keep this top bit closed. I don't really see much point of it. Plus, I will be going through pros and cons of why. So I want to show you guys how this vapes first. Turn my device on. Sigelli, loving it. Okay, so I'm going to whack the power down to 30 because 30 watts is, you know, it's kind of standard 30 watts. So if you can see that, 30 watts. So yeah, you can see also 3 ohms there, and it comes in at 3 volts. So 3 ohms, 3 volts, nice and easy. So yeah, my background ain't very good for you guys to actually see the amount of vapor. So you know, nice mild vapor production. It's not too dense, not too thick, kind of smooth, very smooth. Flavor's nice. Not quite satisfying enough for me, but it can run low. So you can run it on 30 watts. Your battery life is going to last you forever. Yeah, I'm going to whack it up. 10 more watts. 30 watts. 10, 40 watts. I'm just going to go up in increments every 10 watts to show you what it's like. Vapor production's a bit more, flavour's more intense. That's very nice. Very nice indeed. And it's only gone up by 0.5 of a volt. That's really nice indeed. Let's back up to 50 volts. Now, if you were to buy the kit that the Mega's supposed to go with, the mech mod is 50 watts. Okay, so this is what it's built for. It's built for 50 watts. Vapor production is increased nearly tenfold. It is much more denser. Once again, the flavour has intensified. It is lovely. And the great thing is, where it's a 0.3 ohm coil, you can whack the power up just that little bit more. So I'm going to go up to 60 watts. Oh, 75. Not yet, not yet. We're going to get there. 60 watts. Let's go. A little bit warmer now. Not too hot. It's not hot at all. It's just a little bit warmer. Flavour is just getting better and better and better as the power goes up. Now, a friend of mine says to me, who's really into Ohm's law and, you know, voltage, wattage, you know, manual mode and everything else with setting up your device, he reckons 64 watts is optimal. I do not disagree one little bit. That is nice. Once again, I wish you could see the cloud that this is leaving behind. It's very nice. It's still coming out my mouth now, so it's beautiful. One thing that you can do, now you've got to be careful. Obviously, I'm using the Sigeli. If you're using a mech mod that is more powerful, obviously be careful of your batteries and everything else. Be safe. You can, and I'm going to whack this up to 70. It is my preferred wattage for this tank. 70 watts. 70 watts is my preferred power. Beautiful flavour. Warm to hot. Not hot really, but it's warmer. Beautiful flavour, and I recommend that if you've got variable wattage, variable voltage, leave it for about a day. Use it on a low watts for about 24 hours. Then kind of step it up in increments. You know, step it up. 5 watts at a time. Get comfortable with it. And this will go up to 80 watts. I will chuck this up to 80 watts so you can see what this is like. 80 watts. Now it's definitely getting to warm to hot. It's not uncomfortable. It's not going to burn your face off. Don't worry about that. That's very nice. We're at 5.1 volts at the moment, so it will drain your battery out. But obviously I'm using a 0.3 ohm coil, so it can perform very well on 80 watts. I'm going to whack it up straight up to 100 watts just to show you guys that it is capable. If you've got 150 watts, I probably wouldn't recommend it because you'll just burn your cottons straight out. 100 watts, I probably wouldn't use it all the time on 100 watts because once again, you'll burn your cottons out, you'll have to change the coil. So yeah, we're at 100 watts there, so you can see 5.6 volts. Wow. Slightly dry, not too dry. It's not horrible. That was a nice flavour, but like I say, it's very warm now. Um, I wouldn't recommend it. You'll ruin your coils well too quick. You have to replace them even quicker. It'll cost you money. You don't want to waste your money, so stick between 50 and 60 watts. Like I say, a 70 watts for me is a comfortable vape. And I'm going to go through the pros and cons of this tank. I'll go through the cons first because, well, there's a few tweaks with this thing. One thing I've noticed is the drip tip. There's a slight build up of liquid there. I find that I have to go and flush it out, sort of thing. There's not much spit back, but there has been some. Also, liquid kind of builds up in this rim, you can see there. That's why it's a bit of a con to have the airflows open. For me personally, you might disagree, because liquid kind of comes out of these holes and it drips down the sides and everything else. So I have them closed up. Another con would be there's no changeable drip tip. You can't change drip tip. That's that as it is. And to be fair, another one is that where I vape on 70 watts, it really canes the liquid. The liquid goes, like, I filled this up basically 7 mils. I could use this for a day and it would be gone. I would use all that liquid. So that's one con. That is, it drinks the liquid, something chronic. And I think that's the only two cons that I can find personally. The threads are clean. So here's the pros now. The threads are clean. The machined beautifully. There was no grease. There was no machine grease on this. It was perfectly clean when it came out the box. All the coils came out clean. No grease on them either. Everything was pristine. All the threads were beautiful. I mean, I'll try and show you on this coil in here, because I haven't used this. My lighting is terrible, but they're clean. There's no burrs. There's no nothing. They're lovely and clean. And I can't find a problem with that at all. That's lovely. That's what you want. I don't want to be cleaning my devices before I even use them. The tank capacity is much more than they say. It's more than 5 mils. I don't care. Even if you put the coil out, I'm pretty sure you could fit more than 5 mils in here at the very most. Vapor reduction, you've seen it. I wish I could show you better, but like I say, I'm on my laptop. I've got white walls behind me. It's not very practical to see vapor and all the clouds and things. Flavour, wowee, it's superb flavour. You cannot beat the flavour on this. This is fantastic if you're out and about. I use this predominantly for work, so I can literally just pick up, have a fag break or vape break. Like, I don't have to sit there and drip. I can just go. Yeah, no problem. It's very big. It has no problem. Here's another one. It has no problem keeping up. At 70 watts, it keeps up. I do not get dry hits at all. Nothing. It is beautiful. No dry hits. The flow holes are huge, so my coil is always saturated. Lovely. So obviously it's still got the spit guard. Although I think they could have done better with the spit guard. I think they could have upgraded. I've seen the spit guard recently. It's complete mesh. It goes straight over the top of the coil. And I think that will reduce spit back a lot more with this device. It's not that bad. I found that with my older Spire Atlantis tank, that had major spit back. The V2, that was pretty good. They weren't so bad. I think they sorted it out with the V2. But this thing is completely kicked both of them out of the water, I have to say. 4 air holes with variable settings for that. 4 massive air holes, and it really does kick it out. I really suggest that if you're a tank user, invest in one of these. Invest in the kit. Get I think it's called the Aspire CF Max double X, by the way. And yeah, this is built for that. So go ahead and purchase one of them. They're quite expensive, but then again, it still works out a lot cheaper in the long run, and it will last you forever if you convert from smoking. So yeah, if you're a non-smoker, don't start vaping to look cool, to chuck big clouds. There's no point. The reason that I use this device is to get more nicotine in one hit, right, without it really being harsh on my throat, than using a higher strength nicotine. I use 0.3 milligrams of nicotine per mil, and that's purely to get my nicotine fix, because I'm an ex-smoker, without it destroying my throat and getting a sore throat at the end of it, using like an 18 milligram nicotine liquid that you'd find in your standard shop. So I get my liquids from a registered shop. I generally go for an American liquids because they have much more regulations on how the liquid's produced, you know, the ingredients that go into the liquids. So they won't let, like, especially California, they're hot on it. They won't let liquids go out of the country or be even developed if they're not to specifications that are underlined in their regulations for e-liquids. Okay, so that's why I use big tanks and vape massive clouds. Okay, so that's all I've got to say about this. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Share, comment, like, subscribe. Get yourselves one of these if you're a regular vapor. They will last you a lifetime. I'm sure. I've been vaping on this for weeks now, and there's only 2 cons and lots of pros. It is a fantastic machine. So I'll leave you with that. See you soon.